Last night it was a moral victory. I agree. But pause universal credit, you Tory vermin. Now that's talking to Tories as they are, and it's borrowing the word vermin from Nye Bevan, who described the Tories also as vermin. Well, they do say in Westminster or in the City of London, you're never more than a few metres away from a rat. Well, clearly most of those rats last night were beaten into submission and also into a point of abstention because they weren't allowed to vote. So you cowards, aren't you? Tory cowards. But that's what happened last night. And enough of that for the moment, okay? This video is going to be a lot more personal because I'm going to carry on making these videos, particularly as I am in Great Yarmouth with my wife, Great Yarmouth CLP, Constituency Labour Party member, hoping to see Jeremy Corbyn here on Saturday as well, by the way. But as a CLP member, a trade unionist, I'm going to make the videos carry on so that people can track what happens when we get changed over to universal credit. Now let me make this quite clear. 6 weeks that we will have to wait without any money or borrowing some money to then subsequently pay back to the Department of Work and Pensions is going to be a nightmare. It is going to be an absolute nightmare. See those things behind me? Well, a lot of that contains our food. Yeah, you can see over there, like, well, my arm's kind of vaguely waving. We've got the kettle. I've got the cat coming up onto the table now. And we got the kitchen sink, literally the kitchen sink. I'm speaking to you from the engine room of the household. Yeah. Well, this engine room is not only going to be deprived of things like food, most likely causing us to have to go to a food bank, but we're also probably going to be deprived of gas and to heat the house and electricity. Because tell me, without any money over those 6 weeks, how are we going to pay those bills? Or with just maybe a tiny budgeting loan over those 6 weeks, how are we going to pay those bills? How are we going to pay the rent? Honestly, I don't know. But then again, I'm not supposed to know because I'm not supposed to matter because I'm a poor person. My wife, Sharon, is a poor person. We are both poor people and we are mentally and physically ill people. We are mentally and physically ill. But that's not supposed to matter. Yeah? Well, let me tell you first how this will affect my wife. Undoubtedly, part of the whole thing will be a try, I am sure, to get some work capability assessment in here. And although my wife has legitimately been claiming DLA, possibly another little nudge to see if we can get PIP in here instead of DLA. And you can absolutely bet that no matter how mentally ill the wife is for whom I care, you can absolutely bet that the Tories, or their agents as in the ones like Maximus and Atos, the ones who will carry out the work capability assessment, are bound to say she can stand up and walk from A to B, therefore she must be straight into 35 hours a week job seeking, and I too must be into 35 hours a week job seeking because I can stand up and walk from A to B. I promise you it won't just be being changed over to universal credit that's going to come about for many of us. Many of us who are sick and disabled, that's going to precipitate another opportunity for the government to get us off the register, get us to stop signing, stop claiming. The reason being, of course, if we don't get off there, or they can sanction the benefits, well, that's great, because dead people don't claim. Hear that very loudly and pass that on to these vermin, these slime. They're going to make us wait and suffer. Yep. Apparently, I read today that when a new minister is taken on in Parliament, in order to get fully kitted out with the salary, the allowances, the accommodation, all the gear, all the entitlement, all the costs and everything, to get fully kitted out for that takes about 1 week. It will take, at the best estimates, 6 weeks of us additionally suffering before we get anything. Yeah? And even then, the wait can go up to 10 weeks, probably 3 months. In some cases, people haven't had anything for nearly a year. Let me be quite clear, and I want you to pass this video on. Please pass it on. These little Nazis in power are determined to kill the likes of me, my wife, and many others in this country so that we don't claim, and when we don't claim, that money gets into making billionaires like Richard Branson even bloody richer. The money that we have paid in through tax and national insurance will then be used to feed corporates and billionaires. Yeah? I assure you, and I am angry, that those people want the likes of us dead. And they are trying to arrange it by the back door, if you like, by other means. They can't come along and put us all in gas chambers. People would notice. But so far, having been declared fit for work, over 30,000 people have died. If that's when being declared fit for work, when you take any of their financial support away for 6 weeks, lots more people are going to die. Believe me, if you contributed to this government being in power, if you gave them your vote, you have effectively helped them end my life and the life of millions of others. Either end or harm or damage it. That is why these people are doing this. One final point. How long did it take for the DUP, the Democratic Unionist Party, the Ulsterman, the Orange Order, who also abstained, how long did it take for them to get their 1.5 billion bung of a bribe? I think that was in their account by the next bloody working day. This government are disgusting. They are murderers. And they are quite content to, via the back door, murder people like me and my wife. Thank you.